Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us. We're glad that you're here. I'm Steve,
And I'm Scott.
and together we're Backyard Musings, the science and technology channel.
Yeah, we're talking about a story today that is really cool, near and dear to my heart, and I believe Steve's too, because our roots kind of go back to this part of the UK,
Scottish. Yep.
and it is Stonehenge is. Oh, I mean, I'm not obsessing, but it's always fascinated me about those huge rocks or stones, I guess, and just how they got there. I mean, it's kind of like on the pyramids, right? You don't know how did they do it back then. How do they move these things or stand them up or whatever.
Aliens.
So
Aliens.
okay, all
All
right,
right, here we go. Stonehenge's giant altar stone likely traveled about 700 kilometers from Scotland through a carefully planned human effort. New research from Curtin University is shedding new light on one of Stonehenge's biggest mysteries: how a massive stone weighing around 6 tons made its way across Britain thousands of years ago. Would you like to know more?
okay. The focus of the study is Stonehenge's central altar stone, a sandstone megalith that researchers now believe originated in northeast Scotland, roughly 700 kilometers or 435 miles from Salisbury Plain. That enormous distance highlights the remarkable scale of the journey and raises new questions about the capabilities of ancient communities.
The
Okay,
findings
so,
built, say again?
no, I just say, just fascinating.
Yeah, it's a long distance, very long. Findings build on previous research that challenged the idea that glaciers alone transported the stone. That would take a long time.
I don't, yeah.
The latest evidence further supports that conclusion, the conclusion that people, rather than natural ice age processes or global warming, were responsible for moving it through difficult terrain.
Okay, so we're talking about a piece of rock that
Yeah,
weighs 12,000 pounds, right? If I'm
yeah,
doing the, the conversion right.
yeah,
That,
just like those moai on Easter Island. Very
yeah,
same thing.
so it, yeah, it's just fascinating. The other thing that's kind of fascinating to me is the not jumping into another realm here, but the racetrack at Death Valley. Have you ever heard of? I mean, these stones move themselves. They move around this racetrack, and I don't know.
Aliens.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's okay. Huh. All right. To better understand how the altar stone reached Stonehenge, researchers combined mineral grain dating and computer models that reconstructed the movement of ancient ice sheets. Their goal was to identify the stone's source and determine whether glaciers could have carried it south.
According to the results, glaciers may have transported rocks from northeast Scotland during the last ice age, and those are like 14,000 years, right? Potentially reaching Dogger Bank in what is now the North Sea. However, the modeling showed no realistic glacial route that could have delivered the altar stone all the way to southern England.
Co-lead author Dr. Anthony Clark from the Timescales of Minerals Systems group within Curtin's School of Earth and Planetary Sciences said the evidence points to a far more deliberate process. Is that mine too
Yep,
still?
yep.
Quote, rather than being carried naturally by ice, the evidence points to a deliberate, carefully planned movement across a challenging and varied landscape. And that's according to Dr. Clark. Now, again, so why would you do this? Why would you do that? Is it like a totem pole type of thing? Where they're trying to stake out their territory or
No, I
show.
think it was like druidic, like something having to do with the elements and worship. And I think maybe they chose a site, the druids, and then they said, okay, now we got to get the stones from over here to over here. And they did it.
Yeah, and what one or two guys are saying that, and then the other masses are saying, "Are you crazy? This thing weighs 12,000 pounds." I mean, I don't know, kind
Well,
of.
so I'm going to interject here about the moai on Easter Island. There was researchers at University of Hawaii who went to Easter Island and they took a whatever ton block that the Moai were, and they lifted it up. And I think I've explained this before. They had two lines in the front of 10 people and one line in the back of 10 people, and they would kind of rock the thing so that it would kind of move 1 foot at a foot by foot by foot. You know, it was a slow process. The people in the back made sure that it didn't topple forward, and the people in the forward made sure it didn't go back, and they were alternating right and left, so that it's like same principle. Like you've got like a heavy refrigerator or something that you kind of rock it and move it and rock it and move it and rock it and move it. You know what I mean? Maybe
Yeah,
that's
that's how
the way
we
it is.
that's how we used to move cast iron tubs in the yard. If we were too lazy to go get a hand truck, we would just rock them back and forth. And
Rock
they
it
would
back and forth. Yeah.
300 or 400 pounds. Or the way the Amish move their barns. That's fascinating. Have you ever seen them? They erect these big barns and then they move them and they're all standing around underneath it, inside of it, and they pick that thing up. I think it's the Amish, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I know the Amish erect the barns, but I didn't know they actually move a barn.
Oh yeah, there's videos where they move these things, and they're not moving them over flat ground. Some of them are like uphill, downhill, and they're all working in unison. But again, a barn, I would be willing to bet that a barn doesn't weigh as much. Well, maybe it does.
No, not 6 tons. No.
Yeah,
Maybe 1,000 pounds, maybe.
Yeah, and they don't move them 450 miles. They move them, a few hundred yards.
Yeah, that takes some coordination, scouting the route, and then just the logistics of how they eat, how do they sleep,
Yeah, because it's not a weekend project, right? So anyway, okay.
All right, the researchers found no viable glacial pathways connecting the stone source region directly to Stonehenge. As a result, they conclude that people would have had to move the stone over hundreds of kilometers.
Quote, our modeling shows glaciers may have transported rocks part of the way during the last ice age, potentially as far as Dogger Bank in the North Sea, but not into southern England, meaning the stone would still have needed to be moved hundreds of kilometers by people. Okay.
Quote, the research indicates there are no viable glacial pathways linking the source region directly to Stonehenge, reinforcing the conclusion that human transport was required. Instead, this suggests the stone was likely moved in stages, potentially combining overland hauling with river or coastal transport where possible.
The study suggests that moving the giant stone was not a single undertaking, but a complex journey involving multiple phases. Ancient people may have dragged the stone over land and also taken advantage of rivers or coastal routes to ease parts of the trip. Again, 12,000-pound rock in a river? I mean, come on. That ought to be a pretty deep river.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. This is weird. I'm thinking aliens, like you said.
That's what I'm thinking too. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Clark said the findings highlight a level of planning, coordination, and knowledge that is not always associated with Neolithic societies, but it is associated with aliens. Quote, transporting a stone of this size over such a long distance would have required planning, coordination, and deep understanding of the landscape, not to mention tremendous determination, Dr. Clark said.
Yeah. Okay, to end with a quote. The study demonstrates how combining geological analysis with computer modeling can help resolve long-standing questions about how Stonehenge was built. Researchers plan to continue investigating the altar stone's origins by narrowing down its exact source location in northeast Scotland. I'm sure there's a few Scots around that were doing, that were there when they were doing this, so they just need to find them.
Yeah.
Future studies will also explore the routes prehistoric communities may have used to transport the stone across Britain. Yeah, so this is just.
You'd think this story would be passed down generation. Yeah, we moved that stone,
Yeah, dragging out the photo book, Yeah, this is how we did it when we were coming down the hill and across the dale, and I don't know.
Or up the hill.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean that area. It would be different if that area was flat, like a dry lake, but it's not. There's hills and mounds and mountains, and it's crazy. Yeah. But anyway, fascinating.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoy your Sabbath. We'll catch you on Monday.
Yep. Take care, everyone. Thanks.
And as a reminder, we're dropping down to one episode a day because Scott is going to girls' camp, and he will do updates as he can if the internet allows. If he's got coverage up there, he'll do special editions.
Gotcha. Okay. Take care, everyone. Thanks. See ya. Okay, man.
All right. Give me a second.